That's my little ghost. I named him Sammy. I don't know why. I think I probably named him after Sam from Supernatural, even though Sam's my least favorite, but I feel like Sam died more often, so I named him Sam. Sorry if that hit way too close to home for Sam Winchester fans. Hey babes, it's Lilith. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. We have a different angle of my room today. I'm trying out different angles. The one that I usually film at on the other side of my room has my bed behind it, and I felt like it just looked really messy, and I didn't really feel like making my bed, if I'm being quite honest with you, so we tried this side of the room today. I introduced my little ghost at the beginning. He's here all year long, and not just because I have officially decided it's spooky season. The second it's August, it's spooky season. I don't give a shit what anybody says. We've got my lovely poster of Mrs. Levitt over here, and my bookshelf, which I haven't gotten the chance to show off since I got back here. I have all of my wonderful pop dolls, and I got these cute fairy lights that look like spell bottles from Michael's. If anybody is curious in seeing a tour of everything on there, including pop figures and books, and a closer look at the lights, let me know in the comments below. Today we are here for a witchy video so that I can show you guys how I make my salt mix that I put my protective jewelry into. I consider this a cleansing, recharging kind of mix. I got the idea from a video that I think I watched over a year ago from Chaotic Witch Aunt on YouTube. They are also on TikTok. I actually found them on TikTok, but the video in reference is on YouTube, and I decided to kind of make my own spin on it and try my own ingredients that I vibed with that all have properties of protection or purification or both. The way that I use this mixture is I have this handy dandy bowl that I acquired at the store. I love this. I just think it looks so unique, and none of the other bowls looked like this one. Not only do I make this mixture in the bowl, but whenever I'm actually using it with my jewelry, I put it in the bowl, I put it all mixed up in there, and then move everything around to the edges so it's like in a little circle, and it leaves space in the middle where I put my protective jewelry. I do have protective necklaces like this one. I also have another protective necklace that I wear, but I only ever wear it when I leave the house. And I have, I believe, 3 protective rings. I wear them pretty often. I used to wear them all the time in the house, but I've been trying not to wear them as much during the summer because wearing more jewelry all the time during the summer just like irritates my hands, so I'm waiting until it's not as hot outside and I'm not sweating all the time to start wearing them 24/7 again, considering I used to sleep in them. But I decided that I would go ahead and show you guys how I make this mix. I like to remake it every 3 months, and today is the day that I need to remake it, so I figured I would go ahead and show you guys how I do it and how it works so that you see what I'm talking about. I'm about to very roughly try to film this on my dresser, which you're gonna have to forgive the fact that there's a bunch of scrapes on it. My dresser is 17 years old, and there's also red wax stains on it because I had a candle break, and so there's wax stains on it. But you're gonna just have to forgive me because there's nothing I can do about it. But I'm gonna show you how I make this mixture, and yeah, we're just gonna see how it goes and see if you like it and if this is the sort of video you guys want to see. This is as best of a shot as I could get because I can't get my camera to go any lower, and I may have to zoom in editing. But the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get yourself a clean bowl. I pretty much dedicate this bowl to craft work. I mostly use it for this, but I also use it for other spell work. And you're gonna wanna cleanse this out. You can use smoke if you want to, but I live with somebody who has asthma and COPD, so I don't get to use smoke that often. So I have moon water in my cleverly disguised moon water bottle. I just like to spray it around, cleanse it inside and out. And also, if you've used this previously for spell work, or if you've just dumped out the previous 3 months mix, it helps because it can get kind of dirty. So your next step after cleansing is going to be to add salt. If you want to use white salt, you can. If you want to use pink salt, you can. I am right at the end of this container of pink salt, so I'm gonna mix them together. Usually I use one or the other, but I'm gonna go ahead and mix it just so I can get some of this out and use some of this. As far as portions of how much of this mix you want to make, it really doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be telling you measurements of like so many spoonfuls or how many of such and such, because it's really gonna be up to you. It depends on how big the jar is that you're going to keep this mix in for 3 months, or how big the bowl is that you're gonna be mixing this all in together and using whenever you cleanse the jewelry. It depends on how much of each product you have. It depends on if you decide to add in other ingredients instead of the ones that I've used or on top of the ones that I've used. The thing that's really important to remember about this is very customizable. I love just talking and having my hand in the frame. I feel like a puppeteer. So just kind of add however much you want, however much feels right. Oh my God, if I could get it open, that would be great. I tend to, when I'm mixing them together, I add more white salt than I do pink salt. Sometimes I go back and add a little bit more if I decide that I haven't added enough. Another good thing about this mixture is that while on top of being customizable, because you're going to mix it all together, there's no specific order you have to do this in, and you can always go back and change it later. So this is about how much salt we're working with here in the bowl. Next, we're going to add rosemary. I love this little container that I have for my rosemary. I think I got this at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something. Some sort of craft store. This is another one that you don't have to measure out. I just kind of add until I decide that I have put enough in there. I have made mixes of this before where it's been bigger than others and I've added more rosemary or more salt or just, you know, certain things. Just keep it to how you want it. Be very free flow about it. This is what that's looking like. Next, we're going to add rose petals. I have these in here because I dried out roses forever ago and have filled up both of my giant jars and had to keep them in here. I do think that this works better if the roses are in little pieces like this, because it's easier to fit into different sizes of jars and it's also easier to mix together. It's up to you what kind of roses you want to use. I personally like to use red for this, but I have also used purple and a mix of both. I could be using some sort of measuring device for this. Part of what I like about this mixture is just kind of feeling it out, and I like doing the roses by hand. Kind of helps crunch it up a little bit more if there's pieces that are bigger and didn't really get broken up before. This is what we're looking like. Next is black peppercorns. Anything that I do that involves protection, these are the first ingredient I'm going to put in. Again, everything that's in this has either protection, purification, or both involved in their ingredient list of like things they're good for. I always add less of this than I do of everything else just because they are a little bit bigger and because I do use these a lot and I don't want to run out too quickly. Looks like that. Then the last thing that we're going to add in is whole cloves. This is the thing I add the least of, and I don't just shake these in. I do kind of put them in my hand and like decide how many feels right. Sometimes I put more, sometimes I put less. I do the same thing when I make my my money bowls because I put some of these in there as well. I think this amount is how much I'm really feeling like doing right now, just kind of like a little tiny scoopful. And then I put these in. And when I do it, I like to put them in a circle that's counterclockwise because that's good for like banishing things you don't want. And I like to put it in that direction to kind of like put in the intention of when I'm putting my jewelry in this mix, I'm banishing away anything that has to do with negativity or anything that's unwanted and uninvited that got attached to it throughout the day or that I may have, you know, kind of put onto it by feeling negatively or absorbing someone's something. This is what you're looking like once everything is in it. Again, you can adjust the ingredients if you want to add more or less of certain things, or if you want to add different stuff, or you don't like some of the ingredients I put in here. If you want to get a spoon and mix this, you can. Sometimes I just like mixing it by hand. Again, going counterclockwise. I feel like it just kind of helps me connect to the mixture a little bit more, helps me to kind of put my energy into it and imbue it with the intentions of what the mix is used for. And this is what it looks like, all mixed up. It's at this point that I would decide if I wanted to go in and add other stuff. I think I did a pretty decent job of like how much of each thing I want in here. I might have added a touch too much salt, but that's fine. You can never have too much salt in a salt mix. So if you want to go back and add other stuff, now would be the time, just kind of how you feel like it looks. This is the container that I personally keep my salt mix in when I'm not using it. This is also part of the reason that I like having smaller pieces of roses, because it's easier to get through this tiny hole that's bigger down here, but it's small up here. Now I'm going to show you how I use it. Hopefully you can see, because I'm trying not to like make it fall over too much. I've created a hole in the middle of this bowl. You can see it a little better like that. And you're going to put your jewelry here. Usually when I do this, I have 2 necklaces and 3 rings. But for this example, I'm only going to use some of my protective jewelry because I am wearing my necklace and I don't want to pull out all of my rings. I'm going to use this necklace for an example. I usually only wear this when I'm leaving the house. Just kind of roll it up in the way that it is the easiest to fit in, and you tuck it into that little circle. Just like that. If you want to add less product so that the hole can be bigger, that's fine. And I'm only going to use one of my rings because I don't feel like pulling out the other two, so we're going to use this one as an example. You pop that right in the middle. So your jewelry will sit here in the middle of this salt mix that is all meant to purify, cleanse, and protect what is in the circle of it. And pretty much I just leave it alone when I'm not wearing it. Sometimes I leave it in there overnight and then I wear it during the day the next day. Sometimes I only take them out when I'm going out. It depends on the mood that I'm in. And when you're done doing all of this, I break out my handy dandy funnel, which has weirdly been the most helpful thing I have in my craft. It's one of those nice little rubber ones you can get in the cooking section. Pop it inside your bottle. If you want to use a spoon to help with this, you can. I should because I often make a mess. But if not, just use your finger. Just kind of scoop it into the funnel. More than likely, you'll have the problem I'm having here where the mixture gets stuck together and it gets a little clogged. This is why I prefer to use a rubber one. That way you can just kind of squish it around and uncrunch it so that it'll come out and you can loosen the clog and get the mixture to come right back out. And when you're all done with it, it should look like this. I usually like to make mine to fill up about half the bottle. I also like to give it a good shake once it's in the bottle. That way it helps mix up anything else that wasn't mixed up in the first place. Like I said, I like to make this about every 3 months, sometimes 4 if I can't finagle it sooner. But I don't really like to let it go any longer than 4 months because I personally feel like the magic of it starts to go stale. Maybe that's just me, maybe it sounds crazy, but it's just how I personally feel about it. And yeah, that's how I make my cleansing protective salt mix. Like I said, this idea is completely customizable to you. You should use whatever ingredients you resonate with, whether they are the ones in this video or you find them somewhere else on your own or just something else that resonates with you. However much you use is also up to you, portions, everything, all customizable. I think that's all that I have for you guys today, and thank the gods because I'm sweating to death because I turned my fan off so you would be able to hear me, and it's literally 82 degrees in my house. And standing in front of a hot ring light is not helping matters at all. So if you guys liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please hit the big red subscribe button below. Join the family. We're a big bunch of freaks, geeks, and weirdos. If you want to see more witchy content like this, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions or video suggestions, also leave those in the comments below. And if you're going to end up trying this, or if you have any suggestions for ones that you think would work in place of the ingredients that I have, please let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Please don't forget to follow my other social media in the links down below, including both of my TikToks, my Twitter, and my Instagram. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had fun making it, and yeah, that's all I have. I love you guys. Stay safe. Bye.